Star Spiritual Wellness Center. Today I have Erin, our co-teacher. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Erin has not been on since May, June, something like that. May, I think, when we had you on talking about our last spiritual healing retreat. But Erin's got a lot to say, guys. The people who are on our memberships, our paid monthly memberships, get to see Erin all the time on Warrior Wednesday. There's 2 days a month. I'll let you talk about your Warrior Wednesdays, you warrior woman. Tell us what you got going on.
Yes, so I do those videos the first and third Wednesday of every month. You can hop on there and find little tips, tricks, tools, guided messages or metaphors, whatever spirit tells me to tell you.
I like that. That's what I do when I teach. I just say whatever spirit tells me to tell you. I've never quite put it that way. I like it. What other offerings do you have right now?
Well, right now I'm most prominently been doing my intuitive sessions. I have those split up between like 1 hour and 2 hour. So a regular intuitive session is an hour. You can start off slow, see what spirit says you're ready to shift. Or I have the expanded 2 hour session where we can dive a little deeper, spend more time, and like really integrate and purge and dig in. Other than that, I have the spiritual support sessions. You know, it's more of a hands-off approach. Mentorship, coaching, if you need a friend, kind of like a one-on-one lab group, for those who are familiar with the lab group. But it's more one-on-one where you can get a little more guided spiritual feedback, if you will.
So you do the coaching sessions then. So what makes an intuitive session different? Like, what does that mean that it's an intuitive session?
Okay. So I combine a lot of modalities in that. That can be just simply clearing out blockages, or we can go as far as soul retrievals, ancestral healing, past life healings, a lot of things. And sometimes we don't know what we need or what that's going to look like, what's ready to shift, because we shift in layers until we get in there. So I call it an intuitive session because I do what I'm intuitively guided to do once I tap into that energy.
I love that. So you have your intuitive sessions, your coaching, your Warrior Wednesday for our membership people. Tell us about your lab group, LAB.
Yes, so lab group, that stands for Life's Anonymous Battles. All of our members meet once, was it first Sunday of every month? And we just share. We share what we're going through as we grow through it. And it's nice to have that community that gets it. You know, our journeys are individuals and ours alone to walk, but we don't have to do it alone. We get to grow together. So we can go and share and just let that out. Let that energy be transmuted so that we can grow even farther and not just carry it around with us.
What I find interesting about the lab group is that I usually attend them as well. And while I don't always feel like I'm going there because I need to share or I need the support, when I go there, I always feel better afterwards because I feel like I'm getting to connect with people I love. It's like we get to know each other in a more intimate way, and knowing that we're being trusted enough for them to open up and tell us about what's going on in their life, and that I'm opening up enough to tell other people what's going on in my life or what I'm dealing with, and vice versa. And then everyone just not trying to give advice, not forming opinions, not judging, but them just being there to support or give little love emojis and things like that. It just feels like we're getting to know people on a deeper level, and to just care. It feels heart connecting, I've noticed, in that particular group.
So yeah, that's the whole point with the lab group, is a safe space to be imperfectly human. You know, to talk through those thoughts and feelings that we have without being judged or criticized or anything like that. You know, we all get it. We all have our own journeys and thoughts and feelings of those journeys. And that's why we're there to support each other through it all.
There's something about it being received in a very non-judgmental, I'm not going to say completely neutral. It's just in a non-judgmental, supportive way by everybody that makes it feel good. And it separates it from like a session, because I will say, as a healer or even as a coach, you have to be in a space of neutrality when you work on people. You can't be in that space of, oh, I love this person so much, and then go in and dive into their deepest, most personal issues, because then your energies get all mixed and you're incapable of holding that container for them as you work on them. Like you're there to do a job. So it does feel different there, because we're allowed in the lab group to be like, oh, I care about you so much, whereas in session it has to be a little bit more hands off in that way. So I think that feels really good. I like that.
I'm glad that you said that, because I feel like it kind of complements
Mm.
sessions. You know, you have a one-on-one session and you dive in and you get that guidance or spiritual healing. And then in the lab group, like you say, we get to just be human. We get to be friends. You know, it's not coach and client or whatnot. We're all on a level playing field, and we get to just be and be together.
That's important. That's one thing, I was talking to somebody earlier. That's one thing about like the wellness retreat, like the retreat that we had last June, that felt like this. And we did do a few lab groups at the retreat, but there's something about going there. This particular person was saying how, she went into it and there were so many different people of different ages, of different backgrounds. Some were beginners on the spiritual path, and some had been doing it for their whole lives and were older, so there were very differing beginner versus advanced levels, if you want to put it that way. But she said once everyone came together, we started the retreat together. We started the rituals together. We started working through everything together. Everyone was on the exact same heart level. And she basically came to where she was saying, for the first time in her life, she experienced what it felt like to be completely held in love by a group of other women. There was no judgment. There was no competition. There was no separation. No one being left out or pushed to the side intentionally. Everyone was as connected as they wanted to be. And it was just this beautiful, complete circle of heart space. And the lab feels like a mini version of that.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what it is supposed to feel like.
Good. Are you working on any other offerings right now?
I am working on putting together a mini workshop, some divination tools for card readings and pendulums, put some more tools in people's tool belts so they can help themselves.
That'll be exciting.
Yes.
So pendulums, tarot. Are you doing tarot or just oracle?
Tarot, oracle, and pendulums.
And this is a mini workshop.
Yes. Yes. I feel like this is something we could dive into a whole rabbit hole of, but I don't want to say too much, but I want to give people, the basics so they can get started, and then they can decide how far they want to go with one or the other or all three of them.
I think that it's okay to say that, and I haven't discussed this with Aaron, guys, but I think it's safe to say, you know how we work. I think it's safe to say that there's going to be lots of mini workshops coming out. I think it's safe to say that. So number one, we're putting together a psychic mediumship course, and that psychic mediumship course there's so much information that comes up that you need to know other things too. You need to know how to clear your channel. You need to know how to strengthen your channel. You need to know how to interpret your messages. You need to know how to protect yourself. There's lots of different things that come up anytime you learn one concept. Like you said, you can rabbit hole into a big, huge concept, or you can take small pieces at a time and learn a little bit about divination in order to interpret your messages, learn other things. So that means there will be other workshops, mini workshops coming out around that. But that aside, I feel like you're going to be having a lot of workshops that just come out of the woodwork on your side of the site. So if you guys want to book any of those things, if you want to book an intuitive session or one of those coaching calls, earthandstarwellness.com, go to booking. It'll bring you down to us two and head over to Erin for those intuitive sessions. The lab groups, you go to events on earthandstarwellness.com and it'll show you where our next lab group is and the link to get in. It's completely free. You don't need a password. You just click into the link at the time. The divination workshop isn't quite up yet, but that will also be under Erin's booking if you guys want to get that. And I'm sure she'll come on and announce it for everybody.
Of course.
If you want to take part in those little Warrior Wednesday videos, just getting a little bit of extra encouragement and extra readings and stuff like that for, just those 2 Wednesdays every month, then that's under our paid membership. So you can go to earthandstarwellness.com and go under membership. And that's our monthly fee where you can get that. But that also offers a 15% discount on all of your healing sessions. So if you get that membership, you can watch Erin on Warrior Wednesday, have your free lab group, and get 15% off of an intuitive session. So I'm just saying, bam, bam, bam. That feels like a win to me.
Yes.
It really does. Because if you get I want to use my calculator, but I'm not going to. I feel like if we've done the math before though, but if you get one of those sessions like once a month, the discount that you get off already pays for your membership fee. So it's something like that. I don't know if it's like a 1-hour session once a month or a 2-hour session, but it already pays for that fee on top of everything else that you're already getting. So thanks so much for telling us all about you, all of the things that you got going on. I want to play a game. Is there anything that you want to say first off? Is there anything you feel guided for people to know about you, about how you work, about your passion points, anything at all before I move into this other thing that you also know nothing about?
I think that there's a lot to say there, but that'll be also another thing that I come out with and do on its own.
Mysterious. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were Scorpio.
Oh boy.
I love Scorpios. They're so soft and cuddly in a maybe they'll murder you in your sleep kind of way. It's cute. You want to play a game?
Let's do it. What do you got going on here?
This is what I call, and I just made this up, a quick fire channeling.
Oh boy.
Quickfire channeling. So this is where, and I just made it up before we started. I am going to pull a card in order to get a topic from Spirit, and we're going to channel whatever comes up around that topic.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, we'll start slow. We'll have 2 practice rounds, okay?
All right.
Okay, so with the 2 practice rounds, you have 2 cards in front of you.
Yes.
Pull the first one.
Do you want to see the first one?
Yeah, show everybody. Show us all. Let's not be that mysterious.
So this one is new birth, guarded vigilantly.
Okay. Channel around the topic of new birth, guarded vigilantly. Okay, I know what I'm going to say. Okay. You go. Go, go, go. Go or I'm going to take it over and win everything.
Okay. You're just gonna have to jump in because I feel like this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
Because okay, in this picture, which I find beautiful, there's this teeny little vine tree thing and then a green butterfly. So lots of depictions of like change, metamorphosis, and then this I saw like this sprout or budding, you know, almost, which this one's already grown, right? It's a little tall little tree with leaves, but the image just came in of like breaking through the soil, just like, like a sprout. So there's this new growth, this new level, this unfolding, if you will. And I don't want to use the word destructive, but like that's what it feels like. I guess it's that breaking through the soil and just, I don't know, breaking barriers, there's a balance to that though, because it's this growth, breaking through the soil, out into the unknown, into the light, soaking that up. But the words guarded vigilantly almost bring this like sacred holding to whatever this growth is, whether that's a project or your personal growth or whatever path that looks like. It's almost like hugging it. Not as guarded as like, boundaries are needed and things like that, but the words. I see images, so I'm trying to put them into words.
But I like that, how you said it's almost destructive when it comes out, because it's disrupting. When a plant comes up, it disrupts the soil on top or whatever's directly on the surface.
Yes.
Like the physical 3D, what you can see from the top has to change when something new appears in that way.
As soon as you said that, I get it again, the image just, how, say if you're gardening and you have a little tomato plant and you put the little tomato cage around it, right? So it doesn't like suffocate the plant, but it keeps it safe so that it can grow, it doesn't get run over by the lawnmower or knocked over. And that seemed like a good metaphor for that guarded vigilantly, the room to grow and expand, but protected so that it doesn't lose its way or be interfered with.
I love that message. That's a good one. And it almost feels like you're seeing it from the inside out, like giving yourself room to grow while knowing that you're growing within a safe container as well.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to hear what I got?
Yeah.
Mine might be more the perspective of from outside in.
Okay.
Because as soon as I saw that card, I was thinking, like, I immediately got an image of a pregnant woman. And I was like, oh, baby, I know where this is going. So you've been manifesting. You've been manifesting and manifesting and manifesting inside of yourself. And you're about to give birth to your manifestation, meaning it's about to come to fruition. It's about to be in the 3D. Something's about to come out onto this plane. But you have to protect who you're becoming. And I'm not one to put fear out there, but I am real. I am realistic here. Not everyone is clapping when you're successful. Not everybody can be happy for you when you have good things coming. And when I say protect who you're becoming, I mean protect it from your own mind and self-sabotage, negative thoughts. I mean protect it from those who would want to tear that down or take it away from you or try to point blank copy it and put their own name on it. I'm talking about keep your secrets. My baby's name is a secret until it is born. And even then, I may or may not tell you my baby's name because that is my baby. And when it's a grown little child and can tell you its own name, then maybe you can know its name. Like, that's just how I feel. What you're creating, what you are behind the scenes doing and becoming and typing up and healing, and maybe you're creating workshops, or maybe you're planning your next things, those things get to be secrets. That's why we have like surprise parties and launches and things like that, so that once it's all put together and it can't be swayed or torn down, once it's rooted in a stable way, is only when it comes through the surface, right? So
Yeah.
once stably what you want to make it and what spirit alone has influenced you to make, then can it come out and be seen by others, for others to see, because they're going to have opinions, they're going to have judgments, they're going to want some of it maybe, and by then it's already stably rooted and pure. So that's what I got. Protect who you're becoming. Second round, second card.
I was just about to say that, just like beautifully flowed right into the second card.
Oh, did it? Okay.
I mean, for me, it did, because the second card is she feels and she knows.
Okay. All right.
So when you talk about like protecting that space and it being, rooted firmly before it breaks through the soil, this card makes me think of that intuition.
Mm-hmm.
You feel and you know. And sometimes what you feel and what you know is different than what you see on the outside, so things aren't always what they seem, people aren't always what they seem. And you had mentioned, like protecting that energy, and that some people just aren't meant to be a part of this energy or that energy, or the path itself. And there's something about trusting that, trusting that inner self, that inner knowing, that it's just like your guided light. You may not always know the next steps or understand the next steps, but seeing that light in front of you that you walk towards, that's that guide. But that is the light within you reflected out there, that truth in you that you are following.
Damn, Daniel. Keep going. Preach it.
All of it. Like, I'm really passionate around this. And just the essence of that whole seeing that light out in front of you and then you following that light, even though you don't necessarily understand, it's that trust, not just in spirit, but in yourself. It's an extension of you. You know, I have a martial arts background, right? And we think of learning to defend ourselves and using tools. And it's beautiful to see that in a spiritual sense, because we talk about divination tools and other tools that we use, but tools are an extension of ourselves. So seeing that light, from this picture, and just being guided by what you feel and what you know, it's that internal truth, that internal connection to spirit that is you. And that is you're guiding your inner truth, your inner path, your inner knowing. And that's the new birth. That's what's happening. So
I love your channeling around that card.
Thank you.
When you first held it up, I was seeing like a pregnant woman. I was seeing like blood, birth, femininity, the intuitive nature. What came to me though, like if we could put that one card into one word, I think for me that word would be power. Because the intuitive nature is the one that is able to see through all of the things, to see when the actions don't match the words, to read between the lines, to know all. That is the intuitive nature. It's life and death. It's all the cycles. That is the true power on earth. But what came to me was, why is it that women historically have fallen prey to tricksters or been overpowered? in the past? Why is it that women seem to be under control of other people historically? Why is it that women have been brainwashed or controlled or in abusive relationships more so historically than the other way around? And it's exactly what you said: self-doubt. Not doubting that, not believing that inner power, that intuitive nature. And we had an entire society and system built up to make that self-doubt happen, to tear down that power, to ignore the intuitive nature, to call that crazy or whatever it is, or hoodoo voodoo, that's too woo-woo. Like, what is the feminine nature is what knows what's happening. It's what can say from 3 rooms away, oh, there's something wrong with the kids. It's that knowing that is power. And once we tap into that self-trust of what we can feel to be true, whether or not we know it to be true, is when we can take on that power. Because that is something that came up. I don't recall if it was this Thursday or the Thursday before in one of my readings. It was something about things are coming up that you can't know is true because it appears to be on the contrary, but it's true. So like, go with your gut, go with what you believe. If it's real, it's real, and that's just what it is. So that's my interpretation. Power and self-trust, guys. Dang.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. You just got me like all fired up.
I saw that. This is just our practice round. Okay, are you ready for the real round?
Oh boy, yeah. Let's do it.
Chaos. Dun, dun, dun. Interestingly, this card came out as I was setting up for this game, and it came out a tidy house, so we're thinking root space, right? We got to clean out what's going on the inside. And then when I turned on this show and pulled the card, it came out inverted, and the word chaos came. Quick challenge, go.
You know that my mind immediately goes to that hurricane. Immediately.
Say what you have to say, Erin.
Immediately goes to the hurricane. When you said chaos, and then what did it say? Tidy house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, clarity and organization, but it was inverted. So.
Yeah. Okay. So that's, that makes me think of home and the chaos, everything not being tidy. And that hurricane, they're so beautiful. They're just destructive.
In case y'all didn't know, there's a hurricane headed straight for South Carolina, and it's called Erin. It's Hurricane Erin, spelled exactly the same way Erin's name is spelled. Not Aaron, it is Erin.
Okay, but the beauty in that is like, okay, I've always used hurricanes as that metaphor of the journey of home. And I got to be a Cat 5 hurricane out there threatening our coasts, So that is what it is. But seeing that card and that chaos and thinking of a tidy house, like that hurricane is the center of the storm is the calmest part of the storm. I don't know if you've ever actually seen pictures and like Weather Chasers, and they post pictures. It's actually really beautiful. Like the eye wall of the storm and whatnot, but it spins and everything around it is just chaos. And and that's life. We get caught up in that and we just start spinning if we allow it. But when we come home to the center and we know ourselves or get to know ourselves and find our stillness, then we can navigate that chaos that much better. So we have these expectations of a tidy house and a tidy home and what that's supposed to look like. But like, we are humans. We have emotions. We have experiences. We have to navigate those things. And sometimes it feels like navigating a hurricane. So as soon as you said chaos and tidy house, my mind immediately saw the center of that storm, which just happens to be named after me right now.
Aw, how cute. Boop. Going right off of your heels and everything that you're talking about with the hurricane, I immediately got imagery of being a child and how at a very early age, I feel like I want to say the word forced, but I think it was like self-forced. Like I made myself surrender to trust in a higher power because of storms. So where my granddad lived in, he lived, along Texas and in Alabama. He had tornadoes a lot, not hurricanes. Hurricanes are East Coast, but he had tornadoes a lot, to the point where he even had a storm shelter built into a hill behind his house. But as a young child, we would hear the news and he'd have on the radio, and we're expecting this storm. So they're getting out flashlights and candles and extra blankets. And we're having to go to parts of the house where there's no windows, and everything for a child in that situation feels very scary because you feel unsafe. This is unusual behavior. But then you know what my granddad did? He'd take us out into the garage and open the garage and sit a lawn chair down, and we'd sit and watch the tornado go through. Like we would literally just sit and watch everything go sideways. All of the bird houses and bird feeders go sideways. We would watch the wind, the chaos, the destruction. But we had it set up inside just in case things got out of control or dangerous or we lost power. It was like that was just the backup for the center of the home. But his favorite place was watching the storm, looking out at the storm, at the chaos. And it felt like something so big, because a storm is so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger. And that's why I kind of cringed a little when you said it was like navigating the hurricane, because we all know you can't navigate a hurricane. You cannot control where weather goes when it's going. It's just going to go where it goes. Like we as humans cannot navigate that or control that. We just get to watch it and surrender to our higher power and prepare as best we can. And so I feel like coming off of self-trust with the last card, and this card I'm sitting with trust in God, trust in spirit, trust in our higher power, trust in the path we laid out for ourselves, and knowing that our human has safety as we come into alignment with that center of the hurricane within our souls. When we bring peace to the inside and to our home, also trusting that the outside is safe at the same time. So that's where my mind went with that. Trust in God.
Yes.
Round 4. This is mindful or group think. So with this one, I believe the concept is probably going to be like collective thought or thinking along with the crowd.
Let me see that again. Hold it up for me. I don't know. I was like with you and like seeing and hearing. And then when you said thinking along with the crowd, my mind just, it was like a hand, like, no. So I was
That's
trying
because
to
you're seeing it from a different perspective. I already see where you're seeing it from. So this, for me, this is like following along with what the crowd thinks, like a click. For you, this is how your own personal mind is reflected within the collective. Because you literally just told me about this before we got on the call. So I know exactly what your spirit guides are coming up.
That makes more sense. Okay, I see that.
So how are your personal thoughts connected to collective thought or vice versa? And I have the thought that it goes both ways all the time. If raising our own energy field and coming into positive thought can raise the vibrations of the collective, like putting one candle out there in the dark doesn't make it not dark anymore, but it does bring light. And then multiple people having candles out there brings a lot of light, right? So it does affect the collective when you have positive thoughts, when you heal your personal energy field. But we don't always think about it from the other way down, which is what collects in the collective, because the collective collects everything that everybody feels, that everybody thinks. And then that trickles down into us as well, connecting us all through thought. And this is how sometimes when there's wars or traumatic things, weather things, traumatic things that happen on the other side of the planet, the entire collective energetically can be affected through this. And we can have feelings of fear or anxiety or lack of safety or scarcity, like just all of a sudden one day, and not really know where it's coming from because we're connected to the collective. And healing works that way also. Is there anything you want to say right now? Because I feel like I'm also trying to take this in a completely different direction.
I mean, bits and pieces of that, I guess, are the same that I would just reiterate, because initially seeing that card, my mind went to like being mindful, present in the moment. But then it like expanded to like my mind being full. And that is when I guess I went up into the collective. And then you had said, something about following along with what everybody else said. I was like, but it is a connection. It's that conscious collective that is a connection that is similar to our own, but not. I don't know. I see like a whole like beautiful circle back here because we talk about like our journeys being ours and then we walk alone and all of that. But while our journey is different, those feelings and those collective energies are similar for everybody, even though the story or the path or the specific experience looks different.
Mm-hmm.
But it connects us collectively.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It does. And so we can affect the collective through our own personal change, or the collective can help us process energies or become more empathetic towards certain things. The other thing, but you were talking about how your personal journey and the things that you go through are reflected in the collective. Like everything that's yours is also everybody else's. And what everyone else is going through is also yours. You were saying something like that.
Yes, like it's one and the same. So when we're doing stuff like this, right? I see the similarities of like my own journey, my own path, and especially if I'm going to pull cards for the collective, right? And then the way that I resonate with these cards, I see how there's a connection because my journey is similar to the collective's journey. And it's like, it is all one of the same. It is different. Like I am one drop in the ocean, but I am also the ocean. It's just like you were saying, how when we do our work and the work that we do on our journey and the healing we do on ourselves affects the collective. But then also when every individual in the collective starts doing their own healing work, the collective affects the individual also because we're all one.
So where I'm trying to take this sideways, I think goes into where you said the word mindful, because I keep thinking of click thinking, where we have a group of friends or family members or a certain spiritual group or something like that, and everybody thinks the same way or believes the same way or tells us things that we believe. And it doesn't have to be spiritual. It can literally be anything. It could literally be that the sky is red and everybody believes it so adamantly that we believe it too. Great. We can go up our whole lives with all of these particular beliefs that we're taught that fill our mind. But at what point do we stop and say, but the sky doesn't feel red to me personally? The sky can be red to you, but I don't feel that that's true for me within myself. And we clear that belief system out to make room for something else. This is where I'm going with the group thinking, with the group mind, where everyone can believe something or teach us something or are raised in something. And that's great if you want to continue to use that as an excuse your entire life. But at some point, there comes a time when to be your more authentic self, you have to decide, is that true for me? Does that resonate with my personal self-trust and my feminine intuitive nature? Does this make me feel safe and like I can trust that my higher power is placing this belief system here? And do we clear this out to make room for other things? That's just a drop in the bucket of what I feel around that one. Do you have anything to add, or are we moving on?
Well, I immediately just that she feels she knows.
Mm-hmm.
With that click thinking. So that's my mind immediately was like, no. But it's like, question the status quo, question your beliefs. And when you feel that, something isn't quite right. Why do I believe this? Is this still true to me? I don't just question it. And that's all I could think of was that she feels she knows.
I love that, because all beliefs that you believe can eventually become limiting once presented with something that should change your beliefs. It's letting your beliefs be stabilized inside of yourself, but then allowing them to grow and change as you grow and change so that you continue to expand. I love that point. So I want to pull 2 more cards quickly, though. Quickfire channeling. Okay.
Are you pulling or am I pulling?
I'm pulling. I have the decks.
Yes, ma'am.
I have the decks. Joy. This is the card that came out. Inner child. The concept is inner child joy. Being silly, dancing, singing, having fun. I think that the inner child is the single most important thing for anyone to heal when they begin healing. Because you're going to go through the cycles. If we think of those 3, maiden, mother, crone, or however you want to see that, there's the innocent, there's the manifester, there's the wise person. You can't start with the wise person. You have to start with the child, right? And so going back to your childhood to clear out those traumas, you're going into your root space to clear that out. And once again, going back to that original vision that you had of the seed coming up and growing, the only way to really grow into a person capable of manifesting, the only way to grow into a wise person capable of taking on honor and respect and holding space in the community is to heal the inner child first and come into stability and security within your root space.
Absolutely. Yes. I see the whole flow through all of these cards because it just keeps on going.
Yeah.
When we talk about the she feels, she knows, and then you bring up, joy and that inner child. Yes, it's that inner child that's going to have that audacity to ask, why? But why? But why? and I mean, when you can entertain that child, and let that child play and discover where those passions are, where those joys are, that alone will probably answer a lot of those questions of why.
And I
So,
think that joy should run through all of that, joy and play, because you can get to that mother manifester.
mhm.
And if you don't have that balance with where you've already been, the inner child, the joy, the play, then you're going to burn out. Like you have to continue to apply the inner child to everywhere else that you go in your life as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you choose now, but out of this deck.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This one, or this one? This one?
That one. That one.
This
Yep.
one?
That one.
Fall in love with yourself again to bring in the love of your life. Self-love for love. Self-love. Talk to me.
The depths of which you love yourself is the depths of which is of the love that you're going to find outside of you. So you want to bring in that love, dive into yourself to find that love within.
I want to go further into why that happens. Do you know why that happens? Do you know why you have to love yourself before you find love anywhere else?
I mean, I feel like I do, but I feel like you're going to tell us too.
What came to me immediately is that when you actually love yourself and who you are, this means like you're not still struggling with maybe I love myself, maybe I don't, maybe I'm good enough, maybe I'm not, but like you just know I'm good. I am a whole person that I love and enjoy, and I enjoy my company. Then, and it's not about separating yourself. It's just truly about this overwhelming acceptance of your body, your mind, how you work and how you process things, your emotions, just this radical acceptance of who you are as a person. What that does is it weeds out all rejection. And once rejection is uprooted from your own personal root space, then you don't have the rejection filter on to see it coming from other people. So when other people are trying to love you, are trying to be there with you, you don't feel the rejection or feel the separation. You are allowing the love in because you are able to recognize it and see it. What were you going to say? Was it something similar?
Yes, just in different words. The first little chunk or whatever was in the why is because you wouldn't be able to receive it. And you just explained why you wouldn't be able to receive it, you know? So that was beautiful. They, like you said, you without having that feeling within yourself, I feel like that's that lens of rejection or whatnot, not being able to receive. So when you love yourself and you have all those feelings already within you, then there's nothing blocking that or like you said, rejecting it from within.
Coloring it, yes. I also feel like having that level of self love also teaches you who around you gives you that. And I think this is a catch-22 sometimes because relationships are complex. They're complex. They are. So it's like when you immediately meet somebody and you love and respect yourself, you can immediately see red flags in others and know, oh, that person is not going to respect me. So they do not love me. And you can go ahead and just shut that down. But also having that self love within a relationship you've already currently been in allows you to rise up inside of yourself to teach people, to actively teach people in your life how to respect you, how to treat you, how to love you, especially when it's not always first nature to them to know how to love you specifically and honor and respect you specifically, or in the past, you haven't had those same expectations, and they're used to not having to perform to that level. And it's not a performance, but it is that, okay, well, I'm
It's
not
a
going to
showing
your
up.
sarcasm today. You're going to have to change that if you want to communicate with me, like those sorts of things, like placing those honor and respect expectations, but teaching people how to do that without completely cutting them off or writing them off, because in the past you were the one who was letting people do that to you, and that's why those people in your life right now to begin with. You just have to retrain everybody according to your inner growth. That was
Right.
me the mic, but it was a pen.
But whoops, even that is like all still full circle, the protecting that energy, guarding the person that you have become to this point and are becoming with that sacred self-love. Like that's the whole point.
I love this. This has been so much fun, guys. I think you won.
What?
Okay, I won. It's a tie. I really want to keep score because I feel like this should be like a regular thing. And we can keep score through each show and say who's winning at the beginning.
Okay. I like this. I like where this is going.
My competitive nature is coming out. I win. And also, in case y'all didn't know, because Erin has a background with martial arts, she is the only person that I really try to physically fight.
Because you know that I'm not actually going to fight you.
I don't know that.
Okay.
I just feel like I like living on the edge. Well, I'm not going to walk up and try to fight somebody who has zero training, zero confidence, who would probably like hurt their feelings, because then I'd have to feel bad, right? But if I do it to you, I don't have to feel bad. It just becomes fun.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
Yes, that's fair.
That's very fair. So I actually think that how we should score this is by who goes first. Because it's a quickfire channel. Like, who answers the question?
Now that competitive in me is just like, oh, I see you. Okay.
But that might not count for this one because I was purposely letting you answer first for the first couple.
It's okay. I got you. I see you. I'm here for it.
Well, you guys drop a comment and let me know who won. You guys just say who won right in the comments here, and we'll keep score for the next for the next show. But I also hope you guys learned a whole lot about personal beliefs and self-trust and trust in higher selves and protecting who you're becoming, that inner child self-love. I hope that all of these concepts really gave some good words and messages to all of you. And if you want to attend those lab groups, those Warrior Wednesdays, have a coaching call or an intuitive session, or if you're looking out for that divination workshop to present itself, earthandstarwellness.com. We're both on there. Erin's on there. Anything else you want to say, Erin?
I'm good, even though we both know that I won. It's okay.
Okay, I'll chalk this one up to Erin. Erin says she won. I'm giving you a little tally mark. Okay?
Is it a tally?
A little tally mark. Mine will be bigger since I'm the one keeping score.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Really. I'm allowed to talk to her this way because this is
only her.
Ever. Only ever me. Lord, don't anybody else talk to her like that.
I'm just kidding. I'm really loving, okay?
Big soft teddy bear inside. She really is. Thank you so much for coming on today, Erin, and showing us all of your quick challenge skills and telling us what you've got going on for everybody so they can take advantage of that. And thank all of you guys for sticking around and watching. And we hope you really got something out of it. Bye.
Bye, everybody.